Welcome back to another exciting episode of Break the Apocalypse podcast. This is your weekly look at the hellscape that we find ourselves living in until Russia and China kills us all. Joining me in this inevitable voyage to World War III is Mr. Shahin. Fasting, are we?
Yeah, man, I've almost hit 3 days, but I think I'm gonna end it one day early though, because I'm struggling out here.
Well, I want to talk about your fast on the show, and then if you don't mind, and of course, the B stands for Burley, the pride of the Midwest, where Jif peanut butter is Peter Luger's steak. Mr. B Show Brian. B Show Brian, are you ever going to fast for 72 hours?
I'm actually slowing.
I like that.
I'm eating as much food as I can as opposed to starving myself for 4 days.
We should call you S Show Brian because you're slowing. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Mr. John Draper, and we are the Break the Apocalypse trio. 3 people, 3, I tell you, just guiding you through Dante's Inferno. But if you're joining us for the first time, first and foremost, welcome. We're happy to have you on board. What the fuck took you so long? But just a little program. Nope. This is not the full episode you're getting on the free platforms. No. That honor is reserved strictly for Patreon members. And there's a bunch of cool people hanging out in that crew. Yes, that's right. You go to patreon.com/break the app for the low inflation busting price of $5 buckaroonies, $5. What does $5 get you? You might want to know. Well, the entire unedited catalog. We're talking a buttload of shows. Buttload indeed. Doesn't matter how much is in the butt. If it's a big load, it's all of our episodes, and they're all unedited, plus monthly bonus shows. These bonus shows are made up exclusively of question and answers of the Patreon members, people like Joe S. and Vince Chichi and Who's AG and Mr. Isaacs and Bob Fernando and Nate Tabor and, of course, Johnny Florida and Bruno Camano and JR, Charlie, Digital Lizard, Mike Brown, and Jay. And then we have Brandon McIntyre and Carrie Goldberg, Sal Phoenix and Cockboy and Gary Thorpe and Vic Condor, John Hennepin, Justin Ludwig, Anthony Allison, Terrell Thibodeau, Leonard Van Doon, Cushion Pusher, MJW Games, Larry Trailer, Michael, my pal Randy Shepard, my pal Joe Punches, Father Dirk, Jamie Pennycook, podcast icon Don Tony is in this crew, Janet Maloney, Jarrett, oh my God, I'm tongue-tied tonight, Jarrett Maloney, or Malone, it could be Malone. It's just occurring to me now that it could be Malone. Walter Villani, Darren Gatt, Cassette Classics 86, Tyler Simpson, Austin Red, Steve Shaw, Bravo Needs Bacon, Stephen Teasdale, Marquise Johns, my pal Ruben is here, Anthony Jeter, Joe Stello Echoes. Shout out to my friend, Mr. Stello Echoes, right there. Shout out to you, my friend. Keep me in the loop. You know what I'm talking about. Ronald Anderson, Adam Bergone is here. Emmanuel, my good buddy, Amy Foley, Jeff, Lippity, Lip. Look how big my arms will get. Lipman, JB Buff Bell, Jarek Braxton, my good pal, Kevin Mathurin, Michael Smith, Rivers Johansson, who is in love. Jude, Matt, John Bernstein, Claudia is here. Joseph Mara, my good buddy, Willie Thompson, my good buddy, Chris Matthews. Of course, Cherry Jesus is with us. Roxy Mike, JRev92, Texas Sal, Mark Gordon, the Purple Haze. Danny Douglas is here. Paul Stockwell, John Garcia, Fatty316, Richard Todd, James Gruesome, Daniel Clark, Deliverance, Christopher Kane, the half Persian, half Irish, 1000% Drew Yari, who's adorable. Let's go to our pluggy pluggertons, shall we? Let's go to plug everybody. Let's plug Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Drew Yari Show. How about Cassette Classics 86? Go to YouTube. Check that out. Down on the Thundercast. Don Tony killing it on YouTube. You got to check him out. And, of course, Necromaniacs Podcast, recording a brand new episode tonight, actually. It might have dropped today. So you got to go and check it out. The Human Experience Podcast. Ringsiders Wrestling on YouTube. I just did an episode. I just did a whole episode last week. Go check it out now. It was awesome. I love those guys. They're my friends. They're our pals. Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show. And, of course, the Garden of Doom. We are Off the Mat, the Old Guy Metalcast. Of course, funkbetty.com. Get yourself some new clothes. You deserve it. Winter line right now. You go to funkbetty.com. Great winter line out right now. Funkbetty.com. Funkbetty.com. MJW Games. How about Cherry Jesus? Our friend. He's on YouTube. My buddy Sam, Red River Podcast. That boy is killing it. Sam, you're killing it. Your band Playing Dead is killing it. That new EP is out. Fantastic. Bayou Geeks, Fatty316. Check him out. The High Marks Podcast, Midnight Mass Creature Cast. And, of course, the Weekly Detour with Anthony Allison and Teddy. And we got the Guns and Geeks podcast. And now we're going to do a little check-in with both Shah and B-Show for their YouTube shows. Let's start with Planet Mondo, Shah. Tell the people what they can expect on Planet Mondo.
So I actually just put up a new episode. I believe it's the 4th one. And I put it up with my friend Lex and Amanda. It's me against them in a debate. So it's 2 girls versus 1 guy, essentially. No 2 girls, 1 cup. There was none of that weird shit going on. But we did talk about like dating and one I think is a gold digger, and it was like a gold digging debate where I've been calling her a gold digger forever. So it was her trying to defend herself and her position essentially. So I think it's an interesting conversation. So if you want iTunes, pretty much Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, all that good shit, Planet Mondo, search that up and leave a review if you can. I'd greatly appreciate that.
Oh yes, I'm gonna have to leave a review because I love it. Bishop Brian, tell the folks what's going on Halloween 365 podcast and YouTube channel.
Last week, it's still the same as last week. I didn't get around to anything this week because it was
lazy motherfucker.
Work,
Sorry.
but
Planet lazy. Sorry.
That's what happens when you slow. You lose your energy.
I know.
The episode about my trek out to rural Ohio is still up. Had a couple people.
I haven't listened to that yet. Shit, I forgot to listen to that. Fuck.
Terrell Thibodeau responded to the story with "Dude, you are so white." LOL.
Shout out to our good friend right there. That's my friend. That's a real friend of mine right there, for real.
Yeah, so appreciate that. But go check it out. I might be changing the name soon because apparently there's another podcast called Halloween 365 that has a following.
Oh wow! Can you call it Halloween 366? Because I think that's cooler.
Jesus Christ!
Well, how about 365 and a half? Ooh, see, this is what I'm an idea man, B-Show. Or Halloween 356.
I was thinking H24, like Halloween 24, but horror 24. It sounds like A24, but I'm not sure. I'll let everybody know.
Yeah. Well, you keep everybody in the loop, and everybody go check out both Planet Mondo on YouTube and, of course, Halloween 365. And I'm going to give a shout out to our friend Echo. A special shout out to him. I spoke to him earlier in the week. I never air out people's personal business, but we're thinking about you. Keep me in the loop for real, for really real. And of course, I have an album out on Spotify, Apple, and Bandcamp from 2004. Oh my God, it's getting old. It's my old band Synthetic 16. Spell out that 16, will you? This S16, the SIXTEEN. Spell that out. The album's called Too Far Along. Check it out. Let me know if you think it sucks. You're not going to hurt my feelings about something I did 20 years ago. Trust me. But I think it's pretty good, and I hope you check it out. So yeah, that's where we're at. A couple things, a little maintenance we're going to take care of up in the front here. For those of you in the Patreon crew, you'll be getting your first bonus episode of the month next week. So get your questions in, and please do that with some gumption. We want to get some questions, so we'll probably get that out to you, but no later than the end of next week. And then I want to give a special shout out, guys, because there's a special date coming up that really, for a lot of people, signified me cementing myself in podcasting. For those of you that maybe remember, 6 years ago, almost to the date, I was reminded because it is my youngest child's birthday. Edie Drapes is turning 17. As you both know, Shah and B-Show, 6 years ago on her birthday was a legendary event that took place that kind of really cemented Draper in podcast history. What am I talking about? The anniversary of the Deadpool movie theater story. Do you guys remember the Deadpool movie theater story?
Oh, the one you almost got in a fight in?
Yeah, yes, when she was crying at her 11th birthday at the R-rated movie in a crowded movie theater. B-Show, Parent of the Year.
That's like first runner-up in Ohio, at least.
Yeah. That story really kind of broke me out. That was like one of my first like personal stories I ever told on podcast when I was on a podcast, when I was on the Soup. And it just it was wild. Like the response was crazy. It was mostly good for you, but I want to tell you guys right now, and I'm saying this in all honesty, that was a fucking stupid thing for me to do. I mean, like really bad, really dumb to put my 11-year-old in physical harm for my ego to fight a guy at a movie theater. When I have such a good economy of words, I could have just made fun of him and laughed at it the whole time. So as much as I appreciate the anniversary of me almost getting arrested while Edie sobbed uncontrollably on a school night in like, the 4th, 5th grade. Well, 11th birthday is like 5th grade, right, Bisha?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Father of the Year. And the award for Parent of the Year goes to not that guy whose child is sobbing at the movie theater while people are fighting. But yeah, that just came up as like a memory. Like, and I was like, oh, I'm a bad. I mean, I wish one of you got like some of you guys would have told me that was really bad. No one told me it was bad. Like my one sister-in-law was really kind of mortified. And like, I think people attacked her on social media for not defending me. I mean, if I did that today, wouldn't the two of you be like, dude, are you fucking like, what's wrong? Like, wouldn't you kind of be like a little embarrassed to be on the show with me if I did that today?
Well, you remember how the conversation went when you said you chased the guy down in the car and I was silent for a while and you're just like, what? Would you not do that? And I was like, probably.
Oh, you're talking about the snowplow thing? That was bad too.
No. What snowplow thing?
Oh, I never told that story.
I'm talking about the restaurant when the dude fucking bowled over your kid, and rightfully so.
Okay, but that he also assaulted my daughter, dude. Like that's different.
I know, but I'm saying is like the way that conversation got awkward. Like if I was around for that other one, I'd been like, yeah,
shot. What's worse, the almost fighting with Edie at 11, crying in the movie theater, or chasing down a guy in a car with the police who almost hit Violet? Like, which do you think is more awful? Like, do you think one is less awful than the other?
Yeah, I think the car chase is less awful because I mean that's more understandable. I think the movie theater one, I think you blew that out of proportion. But, I mean, the other one, honestly, I mean, listening to that episode at the time, I thought you overreacted even then.
Yeah, but but everybody thought it was so funny. Like, you know what I mean? I guess
it just wasn't my spot to like hit you up and be like, dude, like what the fuck? Because I'm not a dad. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to like.
Yeah, but what if you were like there with me and I was doing that? You'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, if I was there, yeah, 100%. Yeah, if I was there,
if you were there, you might have already hit the guy. So
depends if I had drill music on my headset.
Yeah.
If I was there, I would have 100% said something. But it just like it's not my position to tell you how to treat.
Yeah, but I mean,
like an awkward thing. What am I gonna do? Hit you up on like a DM on Twitter and be like, "Yo, dude, like you overreacted." Oh, it's weird.
Dude, only one of my sister-in-laws, like one of my many sister-in-laws, was like, "This is terrible," and I'm like, and then people like, "Shut the fuck up." I was like, "Whoa, hold on now. That's you don't talk to my sister-in-law like that. Nobody, But yeah, I'm embarrassed by it. I'm not gonna front, and I know a lot of people to this day still think it's awesome, and I'm like, it's a little douche chilly for me. I'm gonna be honest. It's a little douche chill. The snowplow story is probably 50 times worse. I'm hesitant to talk about it. It was probably 6 or 7 years ago, where a guy, I was driving up my block in a snowstorm, and a guy in a snowplow with the plow on his Joey Big Truck Fuck car, the Canyonero, like from The Simpsons. You know how like if you're driving down a block, I was going to say like mine, like you've both been to my block. You go to the right side, like it's a wide block. So you drive on the right side of the fucking road, right? This dude drove straight towards us with his brights on, with the plow out, like stuck. And just at the last second swerved. With the kids in the car, they were probably 10. This is so terrible.
I didn't say you had to tell it.
I know, but I'm not a liar. I do this weird thing where I just be honest. It's very strange to a lot of people who podcast.
But not telling the stories.
No, because lying. I want people to know that it's like to recognize when you do dumb shit too.
That's true.
I want people to be like, yeah, wow, what a dick. I'm like, yeah, that was a dick move. Don't do something like that. So anyway, he almost slammed into the car, and I guess he was plowing, or he was gonna plow. And he was a big dude. I literally told him, get out of the car. I'm gonna punch you right in the fucking face. And the girls are crying in the back, and the guy was like, I'm not getting out of the car. I was like, dude, you got kids in the car. I go, yeah, motherfucker, that you almost killed in my fucking car. Who the fuck are you? And he goes, I'm not getting out of the car. And I go, because you're fucking wrong, dude. Of course you're not getting in the car. You're fucking wrong, motherfucker. And he's big, dude, massive. And he looked like a face puncher. But I was so worried that this guy almost killed me and the kid. Like, I thought he killed us. I thought we were going to die in the car. And like, I was like frothing. And then I get back in the car, and Violet and Edie are sobbing uncontrollable. Not because the guy almost careened into the car, but because me and the guy almost killed ourselves, like in the middle of the street. And it's just like, this is despicable behavior. It's despicable. I would never do this now, like 7 years later. Not that it was cool at like 43. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, when keeping it real goes wrong is a real thing. And, you want to stop yourself before that happens. Like this would never happen now. I assure you, this would never in a zillion years happen now. Never. Good. 1 zillion%. So yeah, it's Edie Drape's 17th birthday. What's up, Shaw?
Real quick side note. You mentioned people like telling one of your sister-in-laws to like shut the fuck up and all that. Yeah. You know how you mentioned before where people either from the show or from listening to your band or whatever outlet, they befriend you on Facebook, and then sometimes they get too comfortable where they engage with family members and like
that's a problem sometimes. But I have to say that's a problem sometimes, but not often. But it does happen.
Well, let me tell you one thing that just happened last week. I had one of my friends on the show, and she happens to be obviously a woman. And she said her real name on the show, not last name or anything, but she said her real name. So she hit me up last week and she was like, yo, I got like 3 or 4 dudes that like hit me up, trying to talk to me, and you're all a common friend. She was like, do you think that's from me doing the show? So please. And from then, anything I recorded, I've given people fake names. Like they all have fake names. Cause like I that's kind of creepy. I was like, dude, how did you went through all my friends list to find her? And that's fucking weird.
Yeah, that's some Ted Bundy shit.
Yeah, that's weird, bro. And there was a couple people. I was like, bro, there's like 3 people that hit you up. That's I'm sorry for that. That's
I know a few people who do stuff like that, and it's always
please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, please don't. I mean, like it's cool. I mean, it's cool that you like everything, but like don't like call my sister-in-law a cunt or like nobody said that. It was just kind of like, what the hell are you? It was like, but it was very like, and then I was like, oh, you're gonna have to slow that down. Like we don't do that here.
And the one actually hit me up and was like telling me about it. I'm like, bro, can you not, please? It's fucking weird. Can you please not do that? Because like,
well, I think B-Show Brian learned this lesson. B-Show, did you apologize to her? Oh, it wasn't B-Show? Oh, I'm sorry.
No better than that.
Don't start that shit.
B-Show, why did you do that? Why did you do it, B-Show?
Put me in a tough spot, man. Put me in a weird spot.
No, it is a weird spot. Yeah, it is always awkward. When people do that, but it's people get carried away. So yeah, it's anniversary of me almost getting arrested at the first Deadpool. And then it was even worse. I had Edie come on like Global Balding and like tell the story like jokingly, like it was like a whole big thing. Like I was like, oh Jesus, like that was kind of funny. I mean, look, nobody got hurt, but how no one got hurt in any of these circumstances is beyond me. I really don't know how there wasn't fisticuffs flying everywhere. So as we're recording this, it's Valentine's Day weekend coming up. Any Valentine's Day plans for your harem of women?
So I'm actually gonna go out on Saturday, but it's like first time like hanging out with. So it's kind of weird, like Valentine's Day weekend.
Oof.
So yeah, that's a lot on the line here.
That's rough.
It's real rough.
That's rough.
So yeah, that's
weekend, first date. Ooh.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually gonna end my fast early, because I feel like if I eat for the first time on Valentine's Day weekend, like meeting her, what if I get sick? I haven't had food for like 4 days. If I eat something greasy, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, or if you just like pass out in front of her.
Yeah, it's like fucked up. I don't want to put myself in that spot. And then next week, you'll get a kick out of this. I have a Persian friend, and she just went single. So she was, she's like fucked up and shit. So I was like, yo, like let's go out next week and get something to eat. And she's all up for like fucking around, like pranks and stuff. So I came up with this prank, and since we're both Persian, I figured this would be amazing. So she's gonna show up wearing like the headdress. She's gonna wear her dress.
Are you fucking serious?
Oh, dude, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna record this whole thing for a TikTok.
Oh,
what is this Persian jackass?
Oh, dude, it's gonna be amazing. When the waitress comes up, I'm not gonna let her speak, and she's gonna try to like point to like number 2.
Christ.
She's gonna point to number 2, and I'm gonna tell her that she's not allowed to have number 2. She can only have number 4, and we're gonna wait to see how the waitress reacts.
I'm gonna make a prediction right now. First of all, this is amazing, and this should be its own show. Yeah. Secondly, the waitress is going to, if the waitress is very woke, she's not going to want to offend your culture and just let it fly.
Oh, it's got. By the way, this was like mostly her idea. So I was like, you're batshit crazy. I was like, I'm all for this.
Oh my God. Insane. Dinner with the infidels. B-Show, what do you do? What's going on Valentine's Day weekend? What are you guys getting? You guys getting like a turducken, like a Valentine's turducken? Like, what are you guys doing in the Midwest for Valentine's Day?
No, I would love to go for sushi or Italian or something. Nothing. We're just both so exhausted from work this week that we're just fucking staying home.
I like it. Nice
and boring.
Yeah, I got like wife's birthday last week, kid's birthday this week. Valentine's Day always gets the shaft around here. Always gets the John Shaft. No one gives a fuck. I like that my wife's like that. Like I'm trying to remember times in my life when I was with people where that was like a thing. Well, it's like, well, what are we doing for Valentine's Day? And I'd be like, bitch, is you serious? Like, it's a Tuesday. Like, what do you think? We're going to work. And then we're going to watch fucking Sports Center or some shit. I don't know. I'm going to watch TV and you're going to fucking go to sleep. So yeah, happy Valentine's Day to all of you who are in love, and to the rest of you, don't kill yourself. It's not that big of a deal. Being in love is it's a full-time job. It's not really that great sometimes. It's okay.
Don't be bitter either. I hate bitter single people that just like make fun of everybody. Like, dude, don't be one of those fucking people that's just miserable.
Like, all the sheep are out at the restaurants.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be one of those fucking people, man. Those are the worst.
Just complain to your cat in private. You and your cats can talk about it in the day room.
Crash Pornhub, just all together, hop on at the same time and bitch to fucking Pornhub and whack one out.
That's a good point. How overloaded do the servers of Pornhub get
for Valentine's Day? I don't know. I have no idea. Valentine's Day is dumb. It's a dumb day. It is,
but if people have fun with it, fuck it. Let them have fun. I hate people that ruin other people's fun. You know what I mean? Just anybody that complains about shit that doesn't affect you, just get over it, man.
I worked in a financial office. I worked for a company like before I was over at a bigger company in the 90s. And this girl I worked with, her name was Tara. She was lovely. This is like the mid 90s. But she had she had one of those boyfriends, like she was like one of those people who was like slightly average looking, like maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but the way she acted like a Kardashian, fucked a Hilton, fucked, Bella Hadid. And like, she didn't like the flowers she got one year. This is like 94 or something, 96 or some shit. And she made this motherfucker send 2 more things of flowers on Valentine's Day. This motherfucker must have dropped like $600-700 in 95 because she didn't like it. And she literally called him. It's like, this was really small. And these were giant bouquets. These were like epically huge bouquets. But she had that kind of authority over this guy that like, he just did it. He just kept ordering shit and sending it and ordering shit and sending it and ordering shit and sending it. Fucking outrageous, right? Like I had a fucking, like in a fucking sitcom, but it was real. And like half the yentas in the office are sitting there and the husband basically sent them nothing. You know what I mean? And like, hasn't probably touched them, since the Carter administration with their cobwebbed vaginas. And like, here's this average looking girl, completely emasculating this guy with money while he spends like, a week's paycheck sending flowers that all will just sit in the, like they just all sat, like you couldn't even see her desk. It was like this. We had these tiny little mini cube type circumstances.
It was like a funeral setup in there.
Yeah. And she was a good friend of mine. And, I'm not throwing her under the bus because we were actually very good friends. And I remember like she did that. And I was like, I want to be like, Tara, I love you, but why would you do this? But it was just like the most normal thing ever. This girl was an interesting girl. She was very, very cool. Very, very cool. We were at a bar somewhere, and I guess she grew up in Jersey City, and this is where our office was, and I'll never forget this. So this is when Jersey City was pretty much shitty. Like most of it was the 90% bad. There was no renovation going on, no gentrification. It was just like death everywhere, poor and death. And there's like 2 bars that you can't get killed at, like close to the PATH train. And we're at this one bar, everybody's there. We're all like in our early mid-20s, having a great time. And a bunch of girls walk in, and I'm hanging out with my friend Tara and her friends and all these people. And then she goes, oh, whole color leaves her face. And I go, what's the matter, Tara? She was like, I went to high school with that girl. I was like, okay. And she goes, she's probably going to tell everybody what a bitch I was. Just like that. And I was just like, you got to wonder. It's like, wow, like you're still sweating this shit at like 27 years old, like what people said about you in high school. Oh, the wild days, the wild financial days.
Dude, I'm so happy nobody has ever like returned any bouquet or anything that I gave, because that would be the last time you get a bouquet from me.
Don't actually send bouquets, send bukkake.
Maybe not the last time. I might give you one for your funeral, like 40 years later down the road. But you certainly wouldn't get like a replacement from me.
Can you imagine like instead of bouquets, they just sent bukkakes? Like it was just like a bunch of dudes just showed up and
Ziploc bag full of semen.
Yeah, just like poured it on your face at the desk. I mean, I'm a romantic at heart. Let's be honest. I'm a romantic. But happy Valentine's Day. Happy birthday, my little baby Edie Drapes. I cannot believe this kid is fucking 17. It's madness. It's fucking madness. There is no joy in watching your children grow up. It is joyless. My wife loves it. I think it sucks ass. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I think I have to get another dog just to have somebody to talk to that doesn't like want money or a car. You know, that's probably why people have dogs. That's not a bad idea. Maybe get a dog as the kids grow up. That's not a bad idea.
You could adopt a foster kid like the fucking Mandalorian and just teach him
really
all the cool shit.
Yeah, Gogu. I should get like a Gogu up in here. You know what I mean? That would be nice. These kids hate me. Like teenagers are just like, my kids are not that bad, but when I see what other people's kids are. Oh, I wanted to talk about this. Speaking of teenagers, and then I want to talk about Shahin's diet. Did you guys see, like I put on Twitter like last week? So I was out to dinner with my wife and Edie Drapes, and we're at this really nice restaurant, and the snowstorm just fucked us bad. Like it was just like, you could barely make it to the door. The restaurant's 90% empty, but it's like, you know, Rand's birthday, whatever. So we got to step up for my old lady. So as we're sitting there, this is fucking funny. You guys are gonna like this. So I'm sitting there and I'm already in like a mood because like it's shitty weather. I'm tired. And my wife basically like did the thing where she tried to like I asked a waiter something and my wife answered for him. And I can't stand that. Like, I just don't like correctors. She's a big corrector, my wife, huge corrector. And I'm like, I got a puss on over it. Cause I'm like, I've told you, I don't like being corrected. Don't correct me. Just let me be wrong. I don't give a fuck. Nobody cares. So it was basically, I ordered this fancy drink and it didn't look like it was the last time we were there. So I was wondering if it was wrong. And then my wife is like insisting that it's right. And I want to be like, bitch, you didn't make the drink and you don't work here. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? So anyway, out of nowhere, Edie just brings up something like unprovoked. When a kid brings up something like this unprovoked, you know some shit's going down. And she goes, so I'm not going to mention the friend's name. So she goes, yeah, so-and-so was breaking up with her boyfriend, but now they're not breaking up. And she goes in this whole diatribe about, because my wife goes, oh, do the parents like the boyfriend? And my kid goes, yeah, well, they must like him because he sleeps at the house all the time. She sleeps at his house. And now we know these people a little bit. And these are the kind of parents that you just would be like, no fucking way this is happening. Right? There's no way. Now I'm nowhere near drunk because I got to drive and I'm just sipping this drink. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, her parents let her sleep. These kids are all 16, by the way. She was like, yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. And like, it's totally fine. And she was like, and when she sleeps at the one parent's house, he gets to sleep in the room. And my wife like spits her drink out. And we're just like, okay, you know, like that's fucking crazy. So get this. This is Friday. Saturday, my wife's working 2 doubles and she ends up pulling a triple like with the weekend, right? This kid texts me while she's out with the boyfriend in the bed snow and goes, is there any way I could sleep here? Because she was setting us up in the restaurant to ask. Now, she doesn't ask her mother. She asks the pushover stepfather who says no about everything and then just buys you stuff. So I know what the answer is to this question, right? But I don't want to be the bad guy. So I basically go, not my call. You know, you're going to have to text your mother, right? And she sends back a frowny face. And 10 minutes later, my wife texts me from the hospital and is like, are you fucking kidding me? And then she literally calls me on the drive in a snowstorm home to complain about this, basically telling me, she goes, I'm telling you right now, if this kid ever asks again, we're shutting this whole fucking thing down. There is no chance. I'm not going to be one of these parents who lets their kids sleep at a boyfriend's house. Now, I'm going to ask you both this question. Batshit crazy, right? Letting your 16-year-old daughter and son, whatever, sleep at their girlfriend, boyfriend's house. Shah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have kids, bro. I'm glad I am a father to a bunch of plugs, bro. I can't I'm not jealous. This is one thing I do not miss as far as not busting nuts in people.
Yeah. Now, but
Keep it
can
that
you
way.
imagine, would you let a 16-year-old son or daughter go to you and be like, hey, can I sleep at my girlfriend or boyfriend's house?
No.
Absolutely not, right?
Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. You do that when you leave the house. That's why, again, I'm glad I'm not a parent. I think I'm going to keep it that way. You guys keep telling me all these fucking horror stories, and I just think I'm all set, bro. My biggest issue with my dogs is like them taking over my bed and like shitting in the house once in a while. Like that's about
if
as
the kids
much
did
as
that, I would probably be okay at this point. Like if they just randomly shit in the house, like, yeah, it's totally fine.
It's fine.
Just don't have sex.
I can handle that.
Yeah, I can handle it. I'll clean it up.
16-year-olds sleeping over their boyfriend. No.
Yeah, no. No.
I don't want that kind of trauma.
B-Show Brian, I already know the answer, but share it with the class.
If my daughter asked me at 16 to stay at her boyfriend's house, she'd be chained to the radiator like a circus freak. You know what I mean? Just like, no, you ain't going anywhere. You're captive. No way.
Yeah.
The only time I ever stayed at my wife's house when we were dating, I went to like a New Year's party at her parents' house. They were both stone cold sober, and I had to sleep like in her brother's room.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was just because by that time it
I've
was
done
too
that.
late for me to get a ride home.
Yep, done it. Done that. Been on down
That
that
was it.
road. In my early 20s, by the way.
You see, when I was a kid, we had to sneak over to the girl's house when the parents were out of town and park 2 streets over.
Yeah,
like a normal human
babysitting.
being.
Yeah, for a little late night finger banging while listening to what was the thing that we used to steal the music from? What the fuck was that called? Napster. I get it. I know what you kids were doing back then. I couldn't believe this shit. I mean, like, I lived in a house where you weren't even allowed to like watch a TV show. Like, it was just because there was just so many people and you lived like a veal. Like, you know, there was people just literally on top of each other all the time.
Yeah, but couldn't someone just wander into your house and get lost in the crowd though?
No, we wouldn't wish that evil on anybody.
Okay.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I always say my kids wouldn't last 30 minutes in my house growing up. They would have ended up in some home or like run away or ended up in some circus somewhere. But I couldn't believe that 16-year-old, like, and the thing is, we know this, like, this girl's dad, like, not a bad dude, but kind of like he's like one of those like overbearing, like, I could sense it. Like, you know, like when I met him the few times, I was like, this dude is way too into his kids. Like, he's a little bit like one of those. And I think you just get broken. I honestly do. I think there just comes a point where they just break you, where it's like, okay, they're not on the pole, they're not smoking rocks, and they're not like stabbing people, and they're getting excellent grades, and they're very respectful to people, and they have jobs. So what am I going to say? Like, you know, but my wife, I have to say, as much as she's very much, you know, my kids are my best friends type deal, she has a limit and a line. And when you fuck with that line, it gets medieval around here. And it doesn't happen that often. It really doesn't. It doesn't happen that often. But I was in shock, man. I was in shock. And I felt like this motherfucker was setting me up. Like, it's just, they set me up so easily. Like, you know, it's like they both know it. They literally both know it. It's outrageous and egregious. And by the way, if my wife wasn't around, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret that I would not say outside of the show. And if you play this for my wife, I'll say it was a bit. Not going to lie. And I know this is not good. I might have said yes, only because, let me just, before anybody says anything, I might have said yes, only because it suited my needs. The privacy suited my needs. I could get fucked up. I don't have to fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about nothing. I could watch like Ichi the Killer at like 3 a.m. on full volume while sitting in my drawers, eating frozen pizza, stoned out of my mind. You know what I'm saying? We could fuck around. You know what I mean? I could just fucking get pissed drunk. I could fucking do whatever I want to do because there's no kids here. So my wife thinks it's a thing of convenience too, where people like, yeah, because you start thinking, look, if this fucker ain't here, I could do whatever the fuck I want. And these kids don't leave you the fuck alone when you're here. You know what I mean? So I understand that aspect of it, but but as my wife said, I'm not that selfish. Like, I don't need to, I'm not going to let my child like age themselves and put themselves in these circumstances just so I could fucking, fuck around and have a drink or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying, Shah? Like if she's here all night, we can't do anything. But if she's not here, we can do whatever the fuck we want. So isn't it cool that we can do whatever we want? And then my wife was like, yeah, that's not a good enough reason. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. I'm just shocked that you're admitting to this on the
I know,
on the
I'm
show.
such a dick. But you know, my Saturday nights, dude, you've seen my Saturday nights, and it's just like, you know, like,
yeah, you don't want kids around.
You don't want a kid. You don't want to bring a kid around that nonsense. B-Show, you know what I'm talking about? Like you see the way I get when my kids aren't around. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty fucked up. I mean, it's very much like it's Courtney Love at the Grammys, like every Saturday night around here.
100%. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, I'm with your wife. Like, to me, it's not personally good enough reason, but I can see in the moment where you're just like, it'd be nice to have my Saturday night back. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, look, I've watched Coco Melon and we were watching Sandlot. I love that movie, but I've seen that movie a billion times. Like, I get it. I would kill sometimes just for an hour and a half to get all the way through a horror movie before I have to shut it off when I hear little feet coming down the steps.
I know.
I love my kids more than anything, but sometimes it's like, come on, give me 90 minutes, please.
Yeah.
So I get
like, dude, there was one night I'm just gonna tell the story. It didn't happen, so it's fine. I think one of the kids was out, and then the other kid ended up going out. And I said to my old lady, I was like, we still got Molly, right? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, no. And I was like, well, there's nobody. She was like, no. I was like, yeah, but they're not, no. And she was like, no. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And she was like, we're not at a cabin in Vermont. We're in our house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's wild how like I get policed, like I need a handler. Like I really, really do. I need like a real handler. Like
I'm gonna start calling her kimchi.
Yeah. No, I do. I need a kimchi. Seriously, shot. Like I need like a what do they used to call it? Like when the rich people would come out of rehab and they would give them a sponsor, like a sober buddy or something. Like it was basically like a bodyguard who made sure they didn't do coke or heroin or something like that. Like I need one of those people like on a Saturday night, like between the hours of 5 and 12. That's all. Maybe Friday between 6 and 11. But other than that, I'm good. I have massive self-control. I have incredible discipline. You know what I mean? I just, but there's just something about like a weekend night now where it's like my weekend nights before I was married, like that last couple of years I lived in Brooklyn were so amazing and ended literally when the sun came up. And I do miss them. But I know that that's over forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to relive that because as Tony Soprano said, gentlemen, remember when is the lowest form of conversation. And I am not going to be one of these motherfuckers whose whole identity was wrapped up in like a late 90s, early 90s to mid 2000s or whatever. And that's all you talk about all the fucking time. That being said, it is very fun to be an older person and get lit the fuck up on the weekends. And then fucking wake up the next day, take a huge shit, do the Times crossword puzzle and fucking, throw up a little bit and then make a sandwich. I gotta tell you, it's therapeutic, guys. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Speaking of sandwiches, Shahin is coming off of a cleanse. Share with the world what's going on with your cleanse.
What the fuck did you have to mention a sandwich right before?
Well, I mean, like,
what the fuck kind of transition is that, bro? God damn it. All right, so it's not really a cool story. There's really no specific reason why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for weight loss. I already lost like 25 pounds since like last. I don't need to lose anymore. Maybe like 10
really
pounds.
I
would lose 10 more pounds, but I'm not doing it for that.
That you got to throw everything you own out because you won't be able to fit in your own drawers.
I'm gonna have to get new clothes again.
You have to get new socks, new drawers, everything.
Mainly, I'm doing it with my friend Caleb. He did it for 10 days, and he did 4 days. Well, listen, he did 4 days dry. That means no water either.
Why?
Well, he's like a holistic fucking bad shit. He's crazy, bro.
Dumb, man. 4 days without water.
Yeah, I mean, well, he's like the day before, I guess he like took a bunch of baking soda with water for his kidneys and stuff, so they don't shut down.
Oh my god!
And I guess in like Asian cultures, like a lot of the monks, they do that for like sometimes months at a time. They do dry fasting. So it's more common than you think, I guess. But he meditates. Like his brain does not operate the same as you and I. He can handle a lot different shit than I can. I mainly just did it for like discipline. I just kind of wanted to prove to myself that I can do it. And I'll be honest with you, man, the first 24 hours is fucking miserable.
Of course.
The next day, the morning is pretty bad. And then after that, your body just adjusts. Like I'm really not hungry.
Wow.
Like I want food, but I'm actually not hungry, if that makes sense.
That is so macaroni and cheese. Let me just tell you right now.
It's a mind fuck. It really is like
you trick
kind of mental. Like it is. It's your brain.
Yeah, like I've been tricking my brain for like 50 years that I'm attractive. I mean, I know, trust me, I know it's hard, but once you get into the zone, you start thinking, I don't look that bad.
I'll tell you what. I was feeding my dogs earlier though, man. I have never ever in my life like wanted to try dog food this badly, and like I was giving it to him, and I'm like, "Yo, this is
Jesus Christ, sir! How do you know
might be all right?" Sir? I'm like, "Yo, I thought you were gonna say I was looking at the
dog, and I'm being like, I mean, I wouldn't eat it intentionally, but if I had to eat the dog,
I'm just saying, it was glorious, man. I was like vicariously living through them eating. I was just watching them. I'm like, damn, that shit's probably delicious right now, bro. That shit's probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, when you're starving, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Eddie Murphy said, if you're starving, someone throws you a cracker, gives you a reason. Like, oh, is that a Ritz? That's the greatest crack I've had in my life.
Yes, I would have Yeah, I would. Oh, dude, fuck.
A Ritz cracker. Doesn't that sound
Yeah,
amazing?
crackers, sandwiches. You're killing me.
Cheesesteaks. B-show, what's your take on this? Do you think you could possibly do it? What's the longest you can go? I could probably go 24 hours and then I'd end up murdering everyone in the house.
Well, yeah, I just rebound too hard. Like I could probably not eat for maybe I'd say 48. What depending on the circumstances, probably 48 hours, and then I would gorge myself and like my stomach would split open like fucking Sally Stitches from Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I'm telling you though, you adjust, man. Like I'm really not hungry. You know what I mean? Like if I were to eat food right now, I could probably only eat a little bit. You would think I would want a huge plate. I wouldn't be able to do that. I would probably eat like a quarter of a sandwich and not be hungry again.
The longest I ever went without food in modern history was probably 12 to 14 hours. And that was fucked. And then I came home and ate like I was going to the electric chair. So that's the problem. Like, you know, I think I wouldn't know how to just kind of eat a little bit and then kind of chill the fuck out. But yeah, please eat tomorrow because
what do you mean modern times? So what the fuck is that? In the 1900s, you had a longer time where you didn't eat?
No, I'm saying I mean in this lifetime. Like, you know,
okay.
like, you know,
I thought you meant like in the different eras, like in the 1900s and the 1990s.
No, I mean like in my 40s to 50, like, you know, like, you know, I think, yeah, that wasn't really that long ago. I made a couple of eggs in the morning because I knew I was working this job for like 14 hours straight, and I didn't eat I drank tea and I drank water, and then I came home and ate. So it was about 14 hours. Yeah, that's a long time though.
I will tell you this though, man. I had to like for the last 48 hours, I barely left the house. Cause like
I would be so bored. I wouldn't know what to do. Honestly.
Well, I have a lot of home. I mean, I've had classes like 8 hours.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good though.
Then I walk the dogs, and by the time I cook and shit, it's like dark. It doesn't really. The reason why I don't though is because like honestly, I was just like, I was so annoyed. Like I'm very easily irritated right now.
Of course.
So I was like, dude, all it takes is like somebody, you know, in the line right now for me to possibly end up in jail. I should just stay at home, walk my dogs. Very minimum communication with. I even told my mom, I was like, yo, don't call me for the next 3 days. Like,
Jesus,
I'll be good. Don't call me. I've been talking to like 3 people, and those are like 3 people that I like kind of can bear with me right now. And I kept it at a minimum, and I think that was a good idea because yeah, I probably would have lost my shit, man. I've been I'm a psycho, man. Like I fucking like I've mad issues with people in my neighborhood with their dogs and shit.
Right.
So like I'll walk my dogs now. Like the last few nights, I've been walking them at 2 a.m. just to avoid other people because I'm like, yo, if their dogs get loose right now, I'm hungry. I'm telling you, I might catch a body. Like I might, you know what I mean? Like other times where their dogs have gotten loose, I've been able to control myself and like be a human being. I'm like, yo, right now, bro, like I'm not even afraid for my own sake. I'm afraid for what I would do to you and put myself in jail. So I'd rather just like walk them at 2 a.m. like really odd times where nobody else is out. You know, that's why I need to eat. Like I think tomorrow I'm going to eat so I can go back to being normal. You know?
Okay. Well, we look forward to hearing about the first shit of the book.
Yeah. And no drill. I've been avoiding drill music.
Yeah, avoid drill music because I don't want you to get. You'll end up drilling somebody. So I sent these guys a video. We're not going to play it because you need subtitles, but it's basically Putin. It's called Putin ain't playing, which I think is fucking hilarious. For those of you keeping score about when World War III is going to happen or if it's going to happen, I know a lot of people are actually paying attention to this, but people that aren't fixated on what Joe Rogan is or isn't doing this week. But I'm paying attention to it because. As much as we realize that we are living in the apocalypse, a nuclear apocalypse seems a bit worse than what's going on. I don't know, like, people with nuclear weapons hating the country and, putting ground troops by the tens of thousands on European and international borders. Maybe you might want to pay attention to that. I don't know. But yeah, it was basically Putin. It's called Putin ain't playing. And it was Putin basically saying, look, if you let the Ukraine join NATO, we're going to have a nuclear war and we're all going to basically kill each other. Does that sound about right, Bisho?
Yeah, I was trying to find a transcript, but I can't find one. Yeah, basically he just said, we all know how this ends with the proliferation of nuclear weapons that we know we both have. There's no winner in this game, so don't do it pretty much.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of weird. I hear a lot of weird stuff about this Ukraine. Basically, if you guys remember, Ukraine was a part of what was known as what? The Soviet Union, right? When the Soviet Union collapsed, there was no more. We don't have when we were growing up, it was the USSR. And now it's just plain old Russia. And there's this pervading feeling that Putin feels that the collapse of the Soviet Union is probably like the greatest tragedy in Russian history. And he's old school and he wants to bring it back to the olden days. Like we're talking about like the Gorbachev days with the fucking birthmark on the head. He should just put the birthmark on the head type deal. Like Rocky, he wants it to be Rocky IV shot. Remember?
Dude, I really didn't pay much attention to this until you kind of mentioned it, and I'm fucking terrified now. I didn't think it was a big deal.
No,
until,
but that's what I'm saying. And it's not like doom and gloom. I mean, the guy, if you guys watch the speech, he's saying it out. He's saying the quiet part out loud, right? Like he's basically saying, look, if you guys let Ukraine join NATO, right, it's over. Like we all have nuclear weapons. He's literally said this in a roundabout way. And like in front of and he's like, Macron is trying, like the French president's trying to negotiate all this shit. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Right. But I just know that, this has been building up since World War II. All right. Like World War II, this was our strongest ally. And after the fall of the Nazis and Japan surrenders and Italy collapses, we basically said to Russia, who lost something like, I don't know, how many people died, Russians? Anybody know? It was like over like 900. It was something outrageous. Like even in Stalingrad, I think like 100,000 people died. The Russians took mad hits during World War II. Mad hits, okay? They had a huge country. We sided with them and we stopped Hitler. And then we said, okay, you could take this part of Europe. And then we gave them like half of Germany. And they spread out. And then we decided, oh, now we hate them too. Like it was always like in the back of our mind because we're a democratic country and they're a communist country. And this country's had a communist boner for like 100 fucking years. So then we go into the Cold War and this goes on and Kennedy and the Bay of Pigs with Cuba and communism spreads to China and all such. So it's like, this has been building up. This is basically like, we've been on a date with Russia for like 80 years and we ain't fucked yet. That's the problem. Can you imagine being on a platonic date for 80 years, all the stress that's been building up? You know what I'm saying, B-Show?
Yeah, but this is also kind of like when you have a little brother and you grab him by the arm and you smack him in the face with it and you go, why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Because didn't they just invade Crimea and just absorb them into Russia like a year and a half ago?
Yeah, and don't forget, didn't they put tanks? What was was that Crimea? What was the country?
It was Crimea or the Ukraine. Yeah, one of the two.
No, it wasn't Crimea. Remember a couple of years ago, Russia just decided to take a country over.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe I get the name wrong, but yeah, I think so.
I don't know that.
Let me check.
It was just very strange. It was just, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But here's what I'm thinking. All right, and you guys tell me what you think. I think China and Russia are looking at the United States and even North Korea now, because now they're getting involved. And they're basically saying, this is the weakest they've probably ever been as a nation. This is this is the least influence they've ever had, in Europe or anywhere else. And they're talking a bunch of shit. And how much longer are we going to let them do this? Basically, for you older people, we've become the Fonz. When I was a little boy, Happy Days was a huge TV show. It was so big. It was on regular TV, I think on ABC, and then it was on reruns every day for like an hour on Channel 5 and like what would end up being Fox here, WNYT, I think at the time. NET, I forget the old Channel 5. And like as a child, you think the Fonz is cool, right? Because the Fonz talks the talk. He's got the leather coat, he's got the hair, he's got the James Dean poster, he's just banging all the time. And as a little kid, you look at that, you go, wow, the Fonz is great. He could jump a shark, he could jump Arnold's Chicken Shack and all this other shit. But here's the thing, the one thing you never see Fonzie do forever. Do you guys know the one thing Fonzie never, ever, ever, ever really did on Happy Days that he supposedly was excellent at, but he never did? Do you know what that was?
Fight.
Huh?
Fight a motherfucker. Because Henry Winkler is 5'5", 130 pounds, maybe, on a good day if he's got rocks in his pockets. But you have conditioned yourself to think this shit talker with the cool clothes, with the nice hairdo, handsome enough guy, I'm assuming to people, because he was probably considered a sex symbol, right? He was edgy. He could dance. He banged everybody. He banged them all. Banged them all, right? But he never actually beat anybody up. And he was supposed to be the toughest guy in Milwaukee, right? That people were terrified of this guy. We're the Fonz. We're the Fonz. And all these other countries that have spent the last 30, 40 years, 50 years getting ready to fight the Fonz, now see the Fonz is really just Henry Winkler. He's just some short Jewish guy playing a role. That's what, Henry Winkler. Did you ever see Henry Winkler versus the Fonz? Pretty shocking when you're a little kid. I got to tell you, first time I saw Henry Winkler not being the Fonz, I couldn't believe I thought this was a cool guy. He was just like a very small, unassuming. I think he was singing a song about little kids getting molested or something, like not getting molested. I swear to God, you don't believe me? I bet you could find it in 5 minutes. It's called It's Not Your Fault by Henry Winkler.
Oh, geez.
He did a whole special about kids getting molested. And I'm like, I swear to fucking God, this has shocked me to my core. This shocked me. Look for the It's Not Your Fault. Henry Winkler. It was a song. Is that it right there? It's like, it's not your fault. In there. Yeah. He was like, he started doing all these things about kids getting molested. Like, it wasn't like it was the anti-molesting. But I'm just like, it's like this guy used to jump sharks. This motherfucker jumped a shark in a leather coat. This dude was he was a cool guy. The end of the day, we're not the Fonz. We're Henry Winkler. And I think these other countries where you have people that fucking regulate everything you do. Did you find the video? It's real. I'm telling you.
This says strong kids, but I don't see that It's Not Your Fault.
Well, that was a lyric in the song. It was strong. Okay. What year is this from?
1984?
Yeah. I was like 12 or 13.
It was 42 minutes long. Would you?
Oh, no. We want to find the song at the end where he tells all the kids. Yeah. This was all a thing with, look, all these celebrities. That's Joan London. You got cartoon characters. Look, there's Lamb. Look, there he is as the Fonz. Right? Like, hey, be strong. Hey, kids, stay safe and be strong. Oh, don't get molested. Hey. You see this thumb? Don't let them put a thumb in you. Hey. Look, the Smurfs are in it. Look, I didn't make this up. This traumatized me as like a 12-year-old.
Is this a song here?
There's a song at the end. See if you can find it. So we're the Fonz. We're the fucking Fonz. Keep it to yourself. Hold on. I lost your screen. Oh, this is it. Look, this is him talking about not being touched. Where's the video, B?
It's on the screen. Can you see it,
not.
Sean?
I see your screensaver.
Oh, here we go. Hang on.
Yeah. So this is what he's doing.
John Ritter too.
John Ritter, Joan London.
When St. George left his house in New Jersey to go and slay dragons, he didn't just walk out in a t-shirt and jeans, did he? He had his sword.
Imagine being afraid of this guy, Shah. Like people were like afraid of him.
Luke Skywalker, the same thing when he went after Darth Vader.
Unbelievable. And by the way, he's playing like an Italian like stereotype too, which nobody gives a shit about, but it's just kind of funny now to look at. Yeah, and then at the end, I think he sings a song as Henry Winkler. Let me see. Oh, John Ritter, he was great.
I don't see it, but
maybe it was. I know he was. Yeah, Believe Kids. Yeah, this is awkward, huh?
It wasn't him, but yeah. It's
it wasn't him. Okay, yeah. Who's this creepy guy? Why is it whenever I see things in the 80s
he
about
looks
people
like a
not touching kids? No, why is it whenever I see things in the 80s about people not touching kids, it always looks like people like the people who touch kids? Do you ever notice that?
Bro, this is like Super Mario without a hat and shaved.
Who is this guy?
Pedophile.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude, this is fucking creepy.
This is real. This was on network television. Like millions of people watch this. Can you look this guy up? I want to see if this guy ever got arrested for anything. He looks like Clive Owen.
He doesn't blink, man. He doesn't have a soul.
Because he's thinking about all the kids.
Oh, this is fucking weird, bro. This is
real. Dude, I'm 50 and I remember this from 1984. That's how traumatizing this was.
I'm more uncomfortable watching this than the Serbian film, dude. This is
that guy looks like he looks like he could be in a Serbian film.
Dude.
What is that? Rocky Dennis's sister, Rakina Dennis? Who is that? Regina Dennis? Can we find out this guy's name? This is so
Okay,
awkward.
there's an
I can't-
IMDb page. I'm trying to find the singer.
These innocent kids just staring into this fucking soulless man.
You are never to look me in the eyes when I put my hand down your
bro.
pants and say surprise.
I thought you were going thighs on that one. That was a
Well,
Nice.
that was going to be the next chorus, but
yeah. I can't find the singer.
yeah,
Good.
He's probably got arrested immediately.
Yeah,
Whenever
probably-
I see anti-pedophile stuff, it always looks by people that really want to bang kids. It's so strange.
Yeah, he's probably cellies with Jared from Subway now, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the United States. We're Henry We were the Fonz, and now we're Henry Winkler. No one's afraid. Would you have been afraid to fight Henry Winkler in The Water Boy, or would you just laid him the fuck out and do something?
Kid is a safe kid.
Isha, that's still playing in the background too.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's just obsessed with this now. He's like, I can't believe this was on television.
I was trying to find something else, man. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
I mean, let me ask you something, Shah. How, like, realistically, now that you've seen that Putin video, do you think this is all smoke and mirrors? Do you think we should be taking this guy seriously? That if we let the Ukraine join NATO, they're gonna fucking take the country over?
Dude, I take Russians very seriously. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that like bathes in fucking, like vodka every day, like I take them. I don't want any smoke with Russia.
Yeah.
And dude, honestly, them saying that they're gonna let off on Europe. I mean, they didn't mention us necessarily, but what happens
Europe,
when they?
yeah, but we're
attack
back in
France
Europe,
and
so
England?
he's-
exactly. So like,
Yeah.
it's World War III essentially.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he said it. I mean, we can't. We're not making it up. He fucking said it. I mean, he fucking.
Yeah, he's
said
not
it.
even being subliminal. He's just like literally saying, like, dude, I will nuke Europe. Like, don't do
We're all,
this.
yeah, he literally said in a roundabout way, "We're all gonna die. Don't do it because we'll all die." I mean, like,
And I believe him.
I
I
believe him.
believe him.
I believe him.
Look into his eyes. He means that shit, bro.
That's why I sent it to you guys, because I'm like, this is what people say. Oh, why do you give a shit about this? I'm like, well, let's see what the president of Russia has to say about this. Bisha, what did you think when you watched it?
I was fucking frightened. I figured like, hey, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what Break the Apocalypse was expecting all this time, and now it's here. So yay. Then I was researching this, and apparently he's been saying this for a while.
Mhm.
So I don't take him any less seriously. But there was like another article from like December 21st when he said it, and another one from the year before.
Right, but he's
so-
basically reiterating the same thing. Though. But we didn't have we didn't have a ground troops at the border of
It's just
Ukraine.
building up to the climax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The climax is World War III. We're almost there. It's
Yeah.
like,
He was basically saying, look, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Oh, okay, haha, then 3 months. I'm gonna kill you. Okay, 3 months later.
But,
Dude,
but
I'm
he's
gonna
also
kill you.
holding a knife to your wife's neck and going, if you fucking come near her, I swear to God, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
If you fucking come near me, it's like, well, of course we're gonna come near you, fuck nut. I mean, you got a
Yeah.
knife to my wife's throat.
dude, Putin is like a fuck around and find out type of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I believe his threats. You know,
Putin
whether
said,
it's
fuck around and find out. We should go
exactly if it's 3 months ago, 6 months ago,
Doesn't
whatever.
matter.
If he's actively still standing by that, still scares the shit out of me. You know?
Yeah, and by the way, he said it like in front of like the president of France. Like he said it to the world. He didn't just say it in some weird publication, that you can't read. He's publicly, and I honestly believe him because I think he feels like this is a destiny. Like this is just a destiny, and like no one's gonna show ass to America now, dude. No one's afraid of America now.
Like, do you think he's been building toward being like the next Stalin? Is
That's
you're
what they've
saying?
been saying. They said the
Yeah.
fall of the USSR impacted him because he was a KGB. He was in the KGB at the time, and there is a segment of that country that this is the greatest shame of their lifetime, and to right that wrong, and like, can you imagine like the ratification of Can you imagine the person who ratifies the Communist Party and brings back the Soviet Union, the once mighty, all-powerful USSR?
Oh my God, the
massive-
groundswell of support they would get.
China. I mean, they're backed by China financially, economically, and militarily. So it's like, laugh it off if you want. Keep crying about Joe Rogan. We got ground troop. We literally have a person saying we're pretty close to a possible global conflict, and we're going to be very busy, ratting on each other and complaining about mask or not mask. And it's just like, I just feel like it's a huge distraction, and I'm not getting distracted. So I'm going to pay attention to the scary Russian guy who possibly gives no fucks about sending nuclear fucking warheads over fucking seas to kill people to prove a point. You know what I mean?
I think the part that scares me is He's the type of person that I don't think is afraid to die with the shit. You know what I
God,
mean?
no.
Like he'll
God,
go
no.
down with this. He doesn't give a fuck.
Be a
He's
national
not. He's
hero.
Yeah, he's not like Saddam Hussein where he's gonna go under the ground and like hide. Like he's the type of guy that's like, yo, I'll kill everyone and I'll go out with a bang, and that's fine.
Oh yeah, they'll build a statue of me when
Yeah.
we take over this fucking place.
And we'll just keep it moving, and that's just that.
I think I'm going to give my cousin North Carolina as a present, just as a gift once we take over your shithead country.
Utah and
Shitheads.
shit.
Who wants Utah? Cousin Yori, you get Utah. Boris,
It's great state. You have many wives, many as you want.
Boris, you've always loved Manhattan. Now you have Manhattan. What's left of it anyway?
If we take over Idaho, make it a big vodka factory, lots of potatoes.
Big deal. Get rid of everybody. Fire sale. Everybody must go.
A nuclear fire sale.
Nuclear fire sale, because everything is on fire. Get it? In Soviet Union, everything is on fire. Dude, poor Yakov Smirnov is going to become president of the United States finally.
Isn't it weird how in like 2022, everyone's worried about stupid shit and we're in the middle of a new Cold War?
Yeah, well, I mean, but we're dumb, B. That's the thing. We've conditioned stupidity. We've luxurized and conditioned stupidity so much so that we don't even care when a global nuclear power is mad at us. We don't even care. Why would we care? Who cares? Who cares? Let's fight about CRT. Who cares? Who cares? Why would we worry about USSR when we could fight about CRT and rat on each other if someone's not wearing a mask in a library? I mean, like, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Sorry. It's just, you're giving these things to not pay attention to the big things. That's why they give these things to you. That's why they do it on purpose. They do it on purpose. It's not a conspiracy. It's in your face. You're just too distracted to notice. See, this is the problem with conspiracies. A conspiracy is basically saying that they don't want you to know something. This is all public shit. They just know you're so dumb that you're too busy yelling at each other over shit that you're not going to look it up. So who gives a shit? Burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. And while this is happening, what's happening to our, to our disenfranchised neighborhoods and crime-ridden neighborhoods? They're getting infinitely worse off the charts, and nothing is changing. Zero, absolute zero. Before we went on the air, a bunch of people got shot in Brooklyn and Flatbush, 6, 7 o'clock at night. Somebody's dead. I think 2 people might be dead now. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Let's update the Joe Rogan story. Who cares if people are getting shot in daylight? Who cares? Philly, how many bullets were at that shooting in Philly, Shahin?
54 shots.
Can you explain it? Can you flesh that story out for people?
So, Northern Liberties is like a yuppie, like super fancy area in Philadelphia where all the, doctors and lawyers and engineers go to bar hop, all the fancy people, right? 54 shots rang out at a gas station in the middle of Northern. Like, dude, if you're not safe in fucking Northern Liberties and like Old City and places like that, Philly is going to hell, bro. Like 54 shots, first of all, is a lot for someone not to get shot. So like, I don't know what they're doing out here, man. Because 54, can you imagine shooting 54 shots at people? And this is like a gang fight. Like there's a bunch of people shooting in a gas station. So you have many targets. It's not like you're just shooting at one person. 54 shots, not one person shot, which they should be thankful for. But I mean, that also scares me too, because if you're letting off 54 shots and you can't hit one person, the person you're aiming for, that's why we have so many fucking dead bystanders, bro, because nobody can aim.
Yeah, that's
and also,
go ahead.
One more thing, ghost guns. That seems to be a huge thing in Philly and New York now, bro, where they're using the 3D printers to make guns. So there's no serial code. They can't trace
I didn't know that's
shits.
what that was. I thought it was basically when you need Scooby-Doo to find the gun afterwards. That's what I thought the ghost gun meant.
Dude, that's a thing. That's huge now, where they print guns and they're selling guns. Like they're making them from scratch and they're buying the bullets. You know what I mean? And
gosh, Scoob, this gun is a ghost.
Sewing Scoob.
Roast run. Yikes, Scoobs. Wow.
We're fucked.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a fuck.
There's cares. No serial number on this one, Scoob.
Cereal? It's like, Fred's banging both of those broads at the same time. Shot, no one cares. Like, honestly, you could have said, 6 infants were shot in a daycare massacre. And then people would have been like, That's terrible. That's
Yeah, but
totally.
did one of them say the N-word first?
No, but you're giving these things to not care about the dilapidated society that you have to live in.
I don't want to sit here and dismiss like N-word stories and stuff either, because I think we should focus on two things. We can do multiple things.
We've proven we can't do two things at once. That's the
but we
the
should though. Then we're
problem.
fucking retarded. We should be able to talk
We've
about
proven
multiple
that
things.
we can't do that. We've proven this already.
I think the Joe Rogan thing is important. I think also people dying in New York every day in Philly is important. Yeah, I don't want to just like choose one and be like, well, we can't talk. You know what I mean? Like, we should be able to talk about a bunch of different stuff.
But the difference is when people are getting shot in broad daylight,
sure, it's different.
Shopping centers.
Yeah,
that's priority number 1 zillion. See, here's the problem. We haven't dealt with the real problems. We haven't dealt with any real problems. We've just swept them we just pushed them to the side and go, oh, that's terrible. That's a terrible problem. So we're not well equipped to handle other problems. We can't fix social problems because we have global fucking problems. I was in the supermarket yesterday and I hand to God, the next time I go in the supermarket, I'm going to make a video and we could put it on the website. There was nothing in my supermarket. There was nothing. There was nothing. There was nothing, nothing, nothing. Giant supermarket chain here, the biggest one in this area, half empty vegetables, half empty canned goods, half empty paper goods, half empty meat, half empty cereal, half empty soda. You would have thought literally that like a tornado came through and swept half the store out. And now it's mid-February of 2022 and we're still talking about supply chain issues. We're still talking about it. It's still a fucking issue. Even though unemployment, it's dropped 3 weeks in a row and like 1 million people went back to work last month. Where's all the stuff? Where the fuck is it? Where's the stuff? I've never seen this before. Only during the beginning of the pandemic was it this bad in terms of the supply chain stuff. There's no fucking food.
Well, have you seen the convoys of like trucks? Like they shut down the Ambassador Bridge going to Canada the other day.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that might be a huge part of it. To be honest with you, the reason why I haven't brought that up is because I have not been paying a lot of attention to that. I know what's going on.
And I don't want to blame the truckers because
I don't want either because I paid honestly, I don't know if either one of you guys know. I have not paid a lot of attention to the Ottawa trucker.
They're supposedly protesting over mask mandates and COVID mandates.
Yeah, for COVID.
But the news articles all frame it as truckers just doing this. You know what I mean? They're taking what they're doing out of it and just saying truckers holding up supply chain, which is actually kind of shitty.
And they're framing it as some type of right-wing white supremacy thing. And then the statistic is 30% of Canadian truckers are Sikhs. I don't know if you know that, but 30%, somewhere in the 20 to 30% are Sikhs or ethnic minorities in the country of Canada. And I've seen a lot of videos of actual Sikhs making videos from the trucking convoy. So I don't know how to frame that at all. That's a weird flex to say, yeah, it's a white power thing. And it's like, those guys are Sikhs. Like, why would they be at a white power?
It's funny, even in Ohio, like how many like black middle-aged lady truckers there are whenever I pull up to a gas station or a truck stop or something.
Yeah, I apparently that was a fast-growing industry for a bunch of minorities in the last bunch of years because of the high salary. You know what I mean? Because of the high salary. You know, I think I follow a young woman on Instagram who happens to be an African-American woman who that's her whole shtick is that she's a young woman who's African-American who's a trucker. And but by the way, Canada is not our country. So I know it has to do with our country, but Shot, to your point, what I'm saying is I think we've proven that we're not really doing a good job helping anybody or fixing anything. That's, so this flex where it's like, oh, I just want to have a better society by not letting people say bad words. That's awesome. But that works better in a society when people aren't getting shot in broad daylight. Little kid getting shot at a drive-through in a gang crossfire, in a McDonald's parking lot, like a 6-month-old or a 3-year-old in Chicago. I don't know any usage of any words that are going to get the same reaction out of a person. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I don't see, because we haven't figured that out. And we didn't used to have, you grew up in Philly, now for a long time. Is Philly better or worse in the 20 plus years that you've lived there? Honestly.
It's probably worse than ever right now.
Is it worse than ever? How is that statistically possible? Like, why? How is that possible? Like, it's
It's gangs. It literally. I mean, I'm charging the East Coast of gangs, dude. It's gang culture. West Coast gang culture took over New York, Philly, New Jersey.
By the way, you notice you never hear about West Coast gang culture anymore, right?
Oh, you do. It just depends on what the outlet. Oh, dude, it's bad over there too with gangs right now.
Is it?
Yeah, dude. Gangs are back. It's like the 90s and fucking late 80s all over.
Yeah,
again,
it's retro.
It's like,
look, this is retro killings. I mean,
yeah, but this new breed of like gangbangers are different than the ones from back. The ones back in the day still had code and ethics. They didn't shoot up kids. They didn't hit up fucking grandmas.
Yeah.
These are different, bro. These, like, if you go back to like Snoop Dogg videos and like all these old school people, they weren't fucking flagging in videos. Like Snoop may have the only way very little, man. If you go back to those videos, there isn't too many people just throwing up fucking red flags, and it's not really that common. Nowadays, if you go to fucking like, I don't know, Flatbush, if you go to Canarsie or fucking Brownsville, I guarantee you're going to see a ton of fucking 15-year-olds with blood bandanas and
12-year-olds, 13-year-olds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Crip flags. And it's like every other person. It's very common. It's like normalized. It's completely a normal thing now, you know?
Well, but this should be code red, right? This should be priority number one. There's no bigger priority than this.
Yeah, I think New York has a real bad issue with gangs right now, bro. I'm telling you, I called this like last year when we first started talking about this. I was like, dude, this shit's gonna blow up, and I knew it because like I saw how much they were, how rapidly like it was growing. You know what I mean? It was a fucking wildfire, bro. And now you look at it, everybody in New York that's under 20, that's in the urban community,
right?
I would say like a 70% is either trying to be tied to gangs or is actually affiliated with a gang now. It's crazy.
And everybody, shot to your point though, everybody in the suburban area, 25 and older, is in the Archies.
Dancing to it. Yeah, they're dancing to it.
Yeah, they're like the Archies. They're just dancing to it. Like, isn't this fun? Do the thing with my fingers. Like, you know, like it's crazy. I mean, you got to worry about. I think these are priorities. I feel like we're all connected, right? We're all connected, whether you like it or not. We're all connected. Okay. The same shit that's going to kill one of us is going to kill somebody else. But I really think until a lot of suburban people start getting grossly impacted by this shit, don't expect anything to change.
It's entertainment to them. It's interesting. It's like a documentary. It's like, oh my God, look at it from the outside looking in. Look how they're acting. This is like, you know what I mean? Yo, but the thing is, man, in New York, like I think 7 or 8 rappers got killed in this year alone. Like that's crazy. Yeah. You know, like you never had 8 rappers dying within 4 months in one city.
Oh God, no. I mean,
that didn't happen. That's not a common thing. If 8 artists that just each of them had like less than one mixtape out too, all young, like 16, 17. Up and comers, just started blowing up, just started going viral on TikTok or whatever. Boom, dead. Instant. Yeah. Why? Because they're gang affiliated. They're talking about people that have died. They're talking about smoking on their ashes. People are going to retaliate and they're going to kill them. And it's just a cycle. It keeps going. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. B-Show, when is it? I don't hear any of this coming out of the Midwest ever. It's very strange.
No, and it's very fetishized with TikTok and shit like that. It reminds me of, and I hate to say I've seen this, but it reminds me of like when there's white people who aren't super comfortable being around black people, but they enjoy their movies and culture and entertainment. It's like fetishize is the only way I can put it.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad word to use. I actually think that's, I guess I probably do know some people like that, but that's certainly not my circle of life. You know,
I mean, dude, if you know, people say, you know, cultural appropriation a lot of times and it's misused. I think the TikTok dances and stuff like that, that's a great example of it, where you're spreading, you know what I mean? This, like, yo, some of these songs, man, there's 12-year-olds that died behind these songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And dancing to it, I think that's kind of tasteless. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's pretty gross that it goes viral. And
the problem is, I don't think a bunch of 15-year-old high school students need to do a deep dive every time they hear a song to whether or not, you know,
but dude, you don't need to though. They're literally talking. They're saying people by name that they've killed. Like, this isn't subliminals. It's all it takes is one listen, and you're like, oh, they're talking about actual murders on the song. That's crazy.
Well, but you live with a girl for a while, and I think we've had conversations before where she'll listen to music and she doesn't even have any fucking clue what they're talking about. She doesn't hear it. No, not the kid. I meant a kid girl. Like some of the music she would listen to, you're like, how the fuck can you listen to this? This is retarded. And she's like, "Oh, it's just got a good beat, and I dance to it and stuff." Like some people, especially kids, they don't look that deep into shit. Like the other day, my daughter was singing a song from TikTok she heard, and I was like, "What the fuck did you just say? Like, you don't listen to that shit again."
Well,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
but
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. But then once you start seeing little 12-year-old white kids start doing the dances, like, and they start throwing up these gang signs, you can tell they're interested in that culture. It's not just a song. When you look at their concerts and stuff, it's a lot of white kids showing up and like they're invested, bro. It's different than just like a what was that song that the Watch Me Nene? This isn't the same vibe. This isn't some stupid dance they're doing.
Not doing the stanky
They know what
leg.
they're doing. Yeah, exactly. They know
they're
what they're saying.
Stanky leg. They're throwing up literal gangs.
They understand. Like the videos are very different. When you watch Stanky Leg, it was just a bunch of cute kids on a stage like dancing. Like, okay, I get why white people are there. When you watch these videos, you're like, oh shit, like it's fucking guns everywhere. It's different. Like,
well, Sean, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What can be done about it though? Because it popular culture is popular culture. Like it's,
dude, I think what they did
so popular. Like, what could be done? What
they did in the 90s, they have to crack down on the gangs, bro. I mean, the fact that you can flag right now outside, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me.
Well, let's see how it goes. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to get fixed, honestly. I mean, but it's funny. You were talking about this a year ago. I have to say,